friends, I am Arpit and I'm here with today's analysis. Today is 20th of June and we're going to deal with three very important topics which are in news. The first is the pro-tem speaker. Whenever the Lok Sabha ends, elections are conducted, the speaker of the outgoing Lok Sabha does not resign. He resigns only when a pro-tem speaker is appointed by the president. Pro-tem speaker is an interim speaker till a new speaker is appointed from the newly elected members of the Lok Sabha. So he is for the interim for the time being. The job of pro tem speaker is to administer oath to all the new MPs and to conduct the elections for the speaker of the Lok Sabha. Generally, as per convention, the eldest member of Lok Sabha is chosen as the pro tem speaker. Next is Vladimir Putin in North Korea. Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong un is a deadly combination, no doubt about the fact. Both these leaders have been ostracized by many parts of the world presently, and they both have come together. North Korea and Russia have established a special partnership in which they have pledged that if any of us will be attacked by a third party country, we will be supporting each other militarily. Apart from military support, they have also talked about energy trade, labor provisions by North Korea to Russia, then economic trade overall, and all. So let's see how this partnership turns out to be for the world. Whether it will be a threat or it will act like a deterrent, it is for the time to see. Next is Juneteenth. Juneteenth is coming from the word June 19th. June 19th, 1865, USA became free from slavery. That is why this day is celebrated. But this day was not so much popular until the 1990s. And after 1990s, this day became popular because there were movements by the people for making celebrations on this day. 2021, the president of USA signed on a law which declared Juneteenth, that is June 19th, a federal holiday. Such is the importance of this day now in USA. Next is MCQs. We will be discussing on these topics, and I will be discussing the answers to the MCQs which we had yesterday. So this is what we decided. So let's get started with the first topic, that is the pro tem speaker. The 18th Lok Sabha will hold its first session from June 24th to July 3rd, in which a new Speaker of the House will be elected. But yes, this election to the Speaker will be presided over by the pro tem Speaker, which will be appointed or who will be appointed beforehand. Until this happens, a pro tem Speaker will be chosen to swear in the new members of the Parliament. According to a PTI report, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will move the motion for election of the Speaker in the Lok Sabha on June 26. Meanwhile, Congress leader Kodikudil Suresh, as the senior most member of the Lok Sabha, is expected to be appointed as the pro tem speaker. So, whenever Lok Sabha finishes, the previous Lok Sabha finished, 17th Lok Sabha, the speaker in that Lok Sabha, Mr. Birla, he would not resign. He will not resign until June 24. June 24 comes, a pro tem speaker will be appointed by the president, then he will resign because they cannot leave this office vacant. A pro tem speaker is going to be there for the meantime. Pro tem speaker will administer oath to all the newly elected MPs and will help in conducting or will preside over the conduction of the elections for the new speaker. This is the job of pro tem speaker. Once this new speaker is elected, the pro tem speaker resigns. This is how it goes. Who is the pro tem speaker? Being the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha, the speaker has to fulfill certain key duties related to its day-to-day proceedings. Constitutional provisions, Article 94 of the Indian Constitution states, whenever the House of the People is dissolved, the Speaker shall not vacate his office. This is Mr. Birla. He has not vacated his office until immediately before the first meeting of the House of the People, which is going to happen on 24th of June, after the dissolution. In the new Lok Sabha, the Speaker of the House is decided by a simple majority. Until her selection, the pro tem speaker is chosen to administer some important duties. Pro tem essentially means for the time being or temporarily. So it is like this. Are provisions with respect to pro-tem speaker also mentioned in the constitution? No, UPSC is having this habit of asking these kind of minute details. But yes, we should mind that the constitution does not have mention of this post. However, the official handbook on working of Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs speaks about the appointment of and swearing in of Speaker pro tem. How is the pro tem speaker chosen? It is simple. The President of India appoints the pro tem speaker. And apart from pro tem speaker, three more people are also appointed by the President. In case the pro tem speaker is not there, so those people can act like pro tem speaker. The handbook states when the speaker post falls vacant, when Mr. Birla will resign before a new Lok Sabha, the duties of the speaker are to be performed by a member of the House appointed for this purpose by the President as Speaker pro tem. Generally, as per parliamentary convention, the eldest member of the House is appointed as Speaker pro tem, but there have been exceptions in the past. Means the eldest member has not been appointed as Speaker pro tem in the past. So, this kind of exceptions are there. Purpose of appointing Speaker pro tem. Administering oath to the new MPs is one main purpose, is the primary duty of Speaker pro tem, and also presiding over the election for the new president is presided over by Speaker pro tem. Article 99 of the Constitution states that every member of the House shall, before taking his seat, make and subscribe before the president or some person appointed in that behalf by him an oath of or affirmation. And this oath is also as per the third schedule of the Constitution. So we've discussed third schedule of the Constitution when the swearing in ceremony was there, when the ministers were taking the oath of secrecy and oath of office. Now today also third schedule has been mentioned. So we will also see that which all dignitaries oath is mentioned in the third schedule of the Constitution. So third schedule contains the forms and of oath or affirmations for the following. Now this can be important for MCQs. Oath of office for a minister of a union and states. So any minister in the union or in the state, oath of office is there. Oath of secrecy for a minister of a union and states, whether it be chief minister or ministers, or prime minister or ministers, prime minister or ministers, chief minister or ministers in the state. Then oath or affirmation to be made by a candidate for election to the parliament and state legislature. Now, if I decide to contest elections for the state legislature or the parliament, the oath which I have to take, then that is also mentioned in the third schedule of the Constitution. Then oath or affirmation to be made by a member of parliament and member of legislative assembly of states. Now, after winning the elections, when if I become the member of legislative assembly, that is MLA or MP, then the oath which I have to take, that is also mentioned in the third schedule. So, if I become a minister in the center or in the state, oath of office, oath of secrecy is there. If I am going to contest elections, that oath is there. If I become a member of parliament or MLA after winning the elections, that oath is there. Now, these three things are we've seen. Oath or affirmation to be made by the judges of the Supreme Court, by CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General, and oath or affirmations to be made by the judges of a High Court. So these oath of affirmations are there. Okay. And there's a link also shared of the third schedule. Okay. Task here is that you have to find out whether the president's oath is mentioned in the third schedule or not. I purposely left that out, but yes, you have to find it out. Next is Vladimir Putin in North Korea. As I said, a deadly combination, Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un. Basically, these two leaders have been ostracized by many countries in the world, and they both have come together now. Will they be a threat for the world, or will they be will they be acting like a deterrence for the world? It is left for the time to see. So, talks are expected to produce a number of both economic and military initiatives. The question of transparency in deals, yes, this is always going to be there because both of these are kind of autocratic rulers. So analysts warn that some of the agreements, especially those on the exchange of weapons and advanced missile and satellite technology, are likely to be kept under wraps, means they will not be out in public domain. Hence, much of the information about the deals which are going to happen, especially military deals, is not going to be there. So you see this photo, two leaders and the deadly combo. Beyond economic and military initiatives, what kind of things they are looking at? Beyond those deals, both sides are just eager to put on a grand display of statesmanship. They want to showcase to the world कि भाई, what we are means Vladimir Putin has been imposed travel bans by International Criminal Court. Kim Jong Un, on the other hand, is wanting to project himself as a global leader. So it is seen in some satellite images as well, and in some images which are coming out in the media now, that North Korea has put up a very, very grand show in welcoming Vladimir Putin. This also signifies that Russia has friends across the globe. A few days ago, Vladimir Putin was there in China, now in North Korea. So it is like this. So Kim Jong Un is desperate to burnish his credentials as a significant world leader, and satellite images of North Korean capital are showing lavish preparations for welcoming the Russian president. Putin, for his part, wants to demonstrate that Russia still has friends and allies, and he is free to travel overseas despite that travel ban by ICC. So, this is beyond economic and military initiatives which they want to showcase to the world. A new partnership has been established between the two countries. Putin says Russia and North Korea will help each other if attacked, taking ties to a new level. The two countries signed the new strategic partnership, which is known as Comprehensive Partnership Agreement. So, what is this Comprehensive Partnership Agreement? This, first of all, has replaced all the previous deals signed between the two leaders. Now, components of this agreement. First component, provision of mutual assistance in event of aggression against one of the parties to this agreement. Deal also encompasses political, trade and investment, cultural spheres, security sphere, energy trade. Russia will give oil and natural gas to North Korea. North Korea has been craving for this. Labor agreement. North Korea will send in labor in Russia. Why? Because in Russia, multiple people have been gone on military duty, that is military conscripts, it is known as, and there is dearth of labor over there, which North Korea will fill the gap. So this is how things are going to be there in this agreement. Now the last topic, that is Juneteenth. Juneteenth is coming from this word June 19th, is the oldest nationally celebrated commemoration of the ending of slavery in the United States of America. When is it observed? Obviously, June 19 every year. It marks pivotal moment in American history. Now, the road to Juneteenth. See, 1865, June 19th, America declared itself to be free from slavery. But before that, there were efforts being made, and these efforts were being constantly made. On January 1, 1863, 2 years before June 1865, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring freedom of all enslaved people within the rebellious states. So there were some states where there was rebellion from these slaves. So this proclamation was, passed by the American president. But what was the impact of this proclamation? That has to be seen. The impact of the proclamation. This proclamation did not immediately free all enslaved individuals, as many slave owners in Confederate territories like Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia refused to comply with this Emancipation Proclamation. So they did not comply with it. But yes, efforts from the government sides kept on continuing, and finally, 2 years down the line, on June 19, 1865, the last enslaved African Americans in the Confederate States were freed. Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and issued General Order Number 3, announcing the end of slavery in Texas and proclaiming that all enslaved people were free. So, Texas was the last state from which slavery had to go, and that was done in 1865. This date, more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, came to be known as Juneteenth, that is June 19th. This General Order number 3 was passed. Now, the journey to recognition of Juneteenth, slavery was freed and all, but this particular day, when it started to get recognized, that has also to be understood and known. Now, the modern movement for greater recognition of Juneteenth began in 1994, when advocates from various groups gathered to push for national observance. Now, this momentum continued to grow, and there were other movements also, like the Black Lives Matter, which started in 2013, uh, which were in consonance with this particular, I would say, uh, movement of making Juneteenth popular. On June 17, 2021, President Joe Biden signed Juneteenth National Independence Day Act. So, from not being recognized to a federal holiday through an act, this is how it went, making Juneteenth a federal holiday. Now, despite its federal status, only 18 states have passed laws to fund Juneteenth as a paid state holiday as of 2024. Juneteenth became the first new federal holiday since Martin Luther King Jr. Day was established in 1983. So, after 1983, any national holiday which has been declared by the federal government of USA is Juneteenth. That is the significance of this day. But yes, UPSC is known for asking these unique terms. So, that is why Juneteenth was covered. Now we come to the MCQs. So who appoints the pro-tem speaker, outgoing speaker, the prime minister, newly elected members of the Lok Sabha, or none of the above? Which among them is are correct or is correct, because there is only one has to be correct. The oath of which of the following is included in the third schedule? A judge of a high court, a minister of union, CAG of India, Attorney General of India, the Speaker of Lok Sabha. So whose oath is mentioned, find the correct combination. That is simple, not difficult question. Consider the statements and mark the correct one. Pro-tem speaker administers oath to the new ministers. Pro-tem speaker finds mention in the Constitution of India. So, which among the statements is correct or are correct? Both can be correct also. So, it is like this. Then fourth, which of the following are components of the newly signed strategic partnership between Russia and North Korea? Both countries will support each other militarily in case of an attack on any one of them by a third party. Energy ties will strengthen between both the countries. So, mark which one of them is are correct. Fifth is, consider the statements and mark the correct one. Juneteenth is celebrated as a federal holiday in USA to commemorate the end of slavery. It was June 19, 1863 when officially slavery ended in USA. So, which one of them is are correct? These are the 5 MCQs for today. Now we'll pick up yesterday's MCQs, and I'll be talking about the correct answers of that. Consider the following statements and mark the correct one. Indira Point is located on the Great Nicobar Island. This statement is correct. Andaman and Nicobar group of islands are separated by 10-degree channel. This is also correct. This was mentioned in the maps also. I explicitly also mentioned in the video. So the correct answer for this question is C. Second is, consider the following pairs and mark how many of them are correct. So this is how many wala question where elimination gets difficult. Galathea National Park, Great Nicobar Island. This is correct. There are two national parks on the Great Nicobar Island, Galathea and I think Campbell Bay National Park. Then Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve, UNESCO World Heritage Site. Yes, it is there on the Great Nicobar Island and UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is, as I mentioned, that the Biosphere Reserve is a World Heritage Site. Third is Nicobarese tribes, particularly vulnerable tribal group they are. See, we mentioned about the Champagne tribes. They are particularly vulnerable tribal group. Explicitly, this has been mentioned. And Nicobarese tribe are another tribe which are living in the Great Nicobar Island, and they are also particularly vulnerable tribal group, PVTs. So all the three pairs are correctly matched. So everything will not be given in the PPTs or explicitly discussed. You also have to be aware about this. Ki, acha, two tribes were talked about, Champagne and Nicobarese. Champagne is PVTG, but is Nicobarese also PVTGs? You have to search that. So you have to be aware, you have to think in these directions. We are doing this exercise so that we can make you think in these directions. Then the red flag exercise is hosted by which country? This was very, very simple. It was USA. All time, every time USA only hosts it. Then fourth question, consider the statements and mark the correct one. The progress of monsoon is rapid until central India and thereafter it slows down. This statement is correct because we explicitly discussed this, that till central India it moves rapidly and after that it slows down. The prediction of an above average monsoon for 2024 is due to La Nina conditions replacing the El Nino conditions. So we know that it is due to La Nina and positive Indian Ocean dipole, but the catch here is that whether La Nina conditions are replacing the El Nino conditions or not. Actually, they are replacing. Presently, the El Nino conditions are there. So La Nina will be replacing the El Nino conditions. That both the statements are correct. C is the correct answer for this. The last question, a positive Indian dipole means, now four options: excessive warming of the Eastern Indian Ocean leading to increased rainfall in India. So it is not true. It is Western Indian Ocean leading to increased rainfall. So this particular option, Western Indian Ocean leading to increased rainfall in India. That side, the Gulf region, that particular region of Indian Ocean gets warm, and the eastern side gets cold, leading to increased evaporation and precipitation in India and the neighboring West Asia, South Asia and West Asia. So that was positive Indian dipole. Negative Indian dipole is when the eastern side of Indian Ocean region gets warm and western side gets cold, leading to increased rainfall in the Southeast Asian region. That is on the eastern side of the Indian Ocean region. So this is how we are going to do it. Today's MCQs I will be discussing tomorrow, and likewise we will be going about it. And with this, we've come to an end of today's session. I will be seeing you tomorrow now with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys very well know what to do. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing, and most importantly, keep revising. Namaste. Jai.